You can set a boundary with your friend without it turning into a fight. Many friendships struggle because people do not have boundaries set in place. Boundaries are necessary in friendships because this protects everybody involved and also increases the longevity of that friendship. Let's say you have a friend that every time you try to talk about something they are doing that you do not like, it blows up. Then you keep quiet over and over again. Now, gradually, resentment starts to set in because that's what happens when you keep quiet and you do not really express how you feel. But what if there is a way you can actually talk to them without what you are saying coming off as an accusation? Conflicts in friendships sound heavy, they sound scary. That's why a lot of people avoid them. But conflicts in friendships are actually healthy because this is where boundaries are set. Boundaries don't have to be from a place of confrontation. Sometimes it can just be from a place of communication with no drama going on. So here's the difference. An accusation sounds like, oh, I've been calling you for 2 hours straight. You didn't pick up your call. Oh, that's so rude. I feel so offended. You see, when you do that, the person automatically gets so defensive. Or let's say, oh, that's what you always do. You this, that, probably because at that moment you were just upset. That gives the person the opportunity to immediately put on a defense mechanism. But communication is saying something like, oh, I gave you a missed call earlier. Are you okay? I just tried to check up on you or something. Or I guess you were busy. I tried to call you earlier. You weren't picking. Or not even talking about something like that. Now with this, you are giving the person the opportunity to say, oh, why did you miss my call? To give you an answer to why they missed your call, or not even talking about it. In friendships, just as in romantic relationships, in friendships also, we also need to learn to pick our battles. When you communicate effectively with someone, you are not putting them in a corner. The moment you put people in a corner, they feel very defensive. Or let's say you say, there's a difference between saying you shout too much, you are always shouting, or saying, can you please not shout when you're speaking to me? It makes me feel uncomfortable. Or can you please lower your voice when speaking to me? It makes me feel uncomfortable. These are two different things. But the moment you say, oh, you shout too much, you're always shouting, immediately they get very defensive. Now, when they don't feel cornered, you are then giving them a different opportunity to communicate and really be receptive of whatever you're saying. But when you come with the accusation, it makes them feel like, you know what, she's attacking me. I'm going to defend myself. You also need to engage the power of playfulness when it comes to setting boundaries in your friendships. Playfulness has a place in conflict. And the thing is that it's not every boundaries that needs to be delivered with seriousness. You know what, let's have a Zoom meeting, let's have a Teams meeting. Sometimes in the place of playfulness or something, you just slot it in, like just say it casually and things like that. Oh, just a quick one. I think this, that. Not everything has to be serious. Probably you are even saying this with a smile. The other person then feels safe. There is no way playfulness will be involved and the other person will feel maybe endangered, or even you, let's say it was even being done to you. There is no way playfulness will be involved and you also feel endangered. Normally, your guards will be down. You'll be more receptive to listen to whatever the person is saying. When setting your boundaries, it is also necessary that you are very respectful, you are still loving, you are still kind. It doesn't always have to be with a hard tone. Sometimes it needs to be with a hard tone or something. Let's say your friend shows up to your house unannounced and say you don't like it, or your partner doesn't like it or something. You can, hey, could you please let me know before coming? I don't mean to make you offended. I don't mean to hurt you or something, but we are not really comfortable with that. I love you and all, but yeah. You don't have to start giving an attitude or say you are not at home when you know you're at home or something. At the end of the day, healthy friendships need genuine communications. That is the only way they can survive. If you want to be deeply known and to also deeply know others, you have to give room for people to be themselves around you. You also have to be yourself around other people. And you also have to trust that they still genuinely care about you, even in the midst of them setting boundaries. Boundaries protect you and they protect the other person. Setting boundaries is not rejection. They're not saying, you know what, I don't want you in my life. They are simply stating, this is what I'm okay with, this is what I'm not okay with. Let's take a scenario. Let's say you have a friend that is just lousy, that doesn't know how to speak and all of that. I remember one time I had this friend that was very kind of loose in her speech. She was a very sweet, lovely lady. She was very loose in her speech, in such that when she thinks that you guys are friends, she doesn't think it was about using certain derogatory words, and that's how she speaks to her other friends. I had to clear her straight up that, hey, look, I know it's okay, you and your friends do these things. You guys call yourselves or they idiots, you're stupid, you're mad, all those stuff. Like, no, I don't do that. I told her one day, hey, I noticed that you and your friends, you guys are comfortable using certain words with each other. What's like ode, stupid, mad, all of those things. You guys find it funny, but personally, I don't find it funny. Please, I would not appreciate you using such words with me and all of that. Although she wasn't too pleased with the fact that I set that boundary. Sometimes boundaries feel uncomfortable. However, she never made that mistake with me to use certain things. With her other friends, she could use it, but with me, I'd set that clear boundaries that this is something I would not tolerate. When you don't set a boundary in friendships, it creates room for other things. It creates rooms for offense and other things. I remember one time again, I had another friend that I did not set a boundary with. One time she was unnecessarily rude and disrespectful, but you know what? The normal me, I would have ended that friendship right there and then, because rude people, they irritate me to my soul, because why can't you just be, anyways, for the sake of friendship, I just said, you know what, just endure, don't worry, just let it go. It's one of those things. However, because I did not set boundaries, it then gave her the freedom to feel, okay, you know what, I tried this, she didn't set any boundaries. So because I did not check her the first time, I did not set that boundary to say this is something I would not tolerate, it then opened room for bigger things. That then gave her the freedom to feel like, okay, you know what, since you were okay with this first thing, it is okay for me to do other things. Eventually, the friendship ended, and it all stemmed from the fact that I tolerated something I was not okay with. Eventually, I was just done. I couldn't tolerate it anymore, and I just ignored it. I was just fed up with the rude and disrespectful attitude and all of those things, and I just let her be. And some other things later, the friendship ended, and that was it.
The truth is, everyone has a deal breaker. What might be a deal breaker for you might not be a deal breaker for me, and what might be a deal breaker for me might not be a deal breaker for you. Most importantly, everybody needs to set a healthy boundary. That way, we know how to relate with each other without maybe offending each other or something. And know that sometimes people would get angry when you set your boundaries. But always remember that people who get angry at your boundaries are people who were benefiting from your lack of boundaries in the first place. So their anger, it's not about you. It just reflects their loss of control. It's not like you've really done something to them. It's just that, yeah. Also notice that sometimes when you set a boundary, the response you might get might be different, because the other person might react differently and maybe be dramatic about it or get upset or like kind of withdraw from you or something. But it's okay. People react poorly to boundaries because this just means that they are going to be losing access to doing certain things. People react poorly to boundaries because most times they feel like they are losing access. They are also losing that power over you. And sometimes it might just be because of habit, because they are used to you saying yes to everything, or they are used to you being, okay with whatever they do. Or maybe they are surrounded with maybe family or friends that, do not call them out. So you having the audacity to call them out doesn't sit well with them. So how do you handle, the reaction that you get? Stay calm. You do not need to maybe match any energy that you get or any reaction you get. Number 2, hold the line. Do not change your mind on whatever you've said. Let it be that. Number 3, keep it short. No need for long explanation. No need to argue or everything. Resist the urge to shalaye and explain yourself. Number 4, expect pushback. Like, that is very, very normal. I know that people often test new limits before they finally accept them. So they're going to try you again. The fact that you've set a boundary once doesn't mean that it's just going to flow like that. They might try you one more time to see if you're really serious about your boundaries. So you, in turn, will need to hold it. And also in your friendships, there are some boundaries that you should even set for your friends without your friend even having to say. Remember that friendship is not ownership. You don't get to overstep, to control, or to disrespect someone simply because you are close to them, okay? Friendship does not give you a license to ignore their boundaries, to know every single detail in their life. You also can't dictate their decisions. You also cannot make unexpected visits to their house. You can't get involved in their marital or their relationship issues except they ask you for your opinion. You can't make comments or judgment about your friends' parenting. If they are parents, for example, you can't make comments about their parenting in front of their child. You can't body shame them or talk about their body or make jokes about their body. This is one that I find very, very tacky that a lot of people do. Don't discuss your friend's business with another of your friend or even their friend. Whatever business of theirs, let it stay with you. Don't think that it's okay to distribute this business. And also apologize to your friends when you are wrong. Most importantly, remember that boundaries won't make you lose friends. However, boundaries will make you lose pretenders and manipulators, people who do not have your best interest at heart. So do not feel bad when you have to set boundaries. Moving on, I hope you learn to accept people's boundaries for what they are, and you are also able to set healthy boundaries in your friendships and even in your other relationships. If you've learned a thing or two from this video, make sure you give this video a like, you drop a comment, you also share this video with someone on your social media, and also subscribe if you've still not subscribed. What are you waiting for? Also connect with me on other social media platforms at @D_Mommy Shack. Until next time, bye.